Hey guys, thanks for listening to The Cynical Nerd. Please keep in mind that we do not avoid spoilers for any of our topics, whether they are current or past media. Listen at your own risk.
Oh, damn it.
I don't want to waste any time whatsoever. I've been very anxiously awaiting your review for the AutoBlow AI, and I just don't want to do any kind of buffer. I don't want to what's been going on. I want you to just hit it. Just go. Don't even think about it. Just get started.
Just immediately tell me how satisfied your penis is with this machine.
Can I tell you before you go the only thing I don't like about it?
What? I didn't know you used it.
I didn't. I know nothing about it other than what you're about to tell me.
You don't know the ABAI?
And
that's what I call it. Now they're on a first name basis.
All right, that's a little catchier. That's what I was gonna say. Like it should be called like the suck and dump 2 or something. Like it's just not a dirty enough.
Oh, I did. It did. One of us did each of those parts. All right, hey guys, how's it going? I'll do a slight intro. We got stuff to talk about this week. We're gonna talk about a little bit of week in review, which should be funny. Mm-hmm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 official trailers and one just for Scooth. Yeah. We are reviewing a trailer this week just for our old buddy Scott, and then we have. Excuse me, I just finished eating dinner. 3 main topics, or 3. I don't know which way you can tell that they're German or not. Yeah, you're welcome for the reference. We're going to talk about Eternals, Peacemaker episodes 1, 2, and 3. They released them all at the same time, and then Boba Fett episode 3. Boba.
Can
I just say that they got the same guy to do the music for Boba that did Mando, and I really love the stuff he makes for like the Mandalorian culture. They're just hey, there's like a weird chant vocal in there.
We're not
fun.
there yet,
I don't know.
Chris. We're just getting started. We're nowhere near there. You got to hold on to that shit.
Unlike I held on to my fascinating language, the AutoBlow. So yeah, I gave in, right? Last week, Derek and I were having a couple on like a random like Tuesday night or something.
Yeah. Not a Saturday.
And we were no. We're not responsible like that. Okay, we make our bad decisions midweek, and we were both playing Sekiro, which he has finished. I am 2 bosses away. I don't think. We're probably not going to do a follow-up review because my opinion has not changed. The game is fantastic. It's phenomenal. Play it if you have not. Beat it if you have the will to be a successful person in life. I don't know. It feels like you earned something by, beating these bosses. And I had a little bit more than I usually would on like a Tuesday. And I was like, oh, fuck it. I'm going to purchase the AutoBlow AI, which we have joked about purchasing for months now, to the point where we joked about like doing like an ownership swap program where we all pitched in and then bought our own sleeves so that, for sanitary purposes. I mean, we're going to share a masturbatory machine. The least we can do is bring our own sleeves to the table. When you say it back, it still sounds gross. And I just decided, you know what? I want to try this 9th wonder of the world. I want to lay some cold hard quiche down and purchase it, and I did, and immediately regretted it the following morning. But I figured, man, it's already shipped. I might as well just
too late.
See what happens when it gets
ride the wave at that point.
You just got to ride the wave in. Hope it doesn't drown you in lube. And now, without further ado, here's my review. It's okay. It's too noisy. So here's the thing. You if you go to the website, so this thing became popular because it was actually a GoFundMe or what's the other one?
I don't know.
It's the other fundraising platform.
Change.org.
I don't think it's. It's like where all the. I don't think it's not a GoFundMe. It's where all the other like indie Kickstarter.
Right.
Yeah, I believe it started off as a Kickstarter campaign. Instantly got funded, and then to further its popularity, it was on the show Dave, to hilarious effect. Here's something I didn't know, and I sure didn't read about this. I just expected this thing to be battery powered. It's not. It has a plug. It has to go on a wall, which means you're always jerking off within range of electrocuting yourself. That's the way my brain looked at it. The cord is very long. I can sit here at my computer, and there's a plug like just around the, like I'm in like a little alcove here. My desk fits snugly against the window. There's walls on both sides of the desk.
It would reach you right now?
Yeah.
Are you getting
it
sucked
reached me
right
earlier
now?
today. No, not right now, but I did test
live
it earlier. Somebody suck me. You're welcome for the reference. And it's very noisy. So like, you know, there's if you guys don't know, it's an automatic fellatio machine, or that's what they tell you. It's you put in a sleeve. It's basically like a fleshlight sleeve that's custom designed to fit inside this machine. And there's literally, they show you like a breakaway photo, but there's a motor inside, and it kind of sits in like the center of the sleeve, and you can have it do whatever you want to your little pee-pee. And there's like 10 different settings. And so number one out of the box, the first night I used it was in the bedroom by myself. Samantha was sleeping on the couch. Plug it in. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm setting the mood. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. Lube her on up. It's just, I turn it on. I'm like, oh my God, it's loud. I'm like, I'm going to fucking wake up the baby by jerking off. This is AutoBlow. Like, holy shit, I can't turn it up. I didn't.
Can you imagine right then he comes in, Daddy, I can't sleep. Get out.
That's why we got a gate up on that door, baby. That man is in prison. Which I realized that gate is only as good as until he figures out how to open it, because right. I'm just going to take it out at that point. There's no purpose for it. But right now, he's actually pretty good about not even trying to like come out at night. Only in rare instances when he's upset. I digress. So I was like, this thing's loud as shit. I should turn it. I'm like, nah, I'm not gonna, because you know what are we all but squirrels chasing a nut? So I finished things up. I would say the noise was a huge detractor for me. I mean, it's not like deafeningly loud, but the machine like is not quiet. It's like like it's you know, it's noisy bitch. Does it do its job? Absolutely. I mean, I was trying to like, it's, you know, it's sitting on my male genitalia, and I'm trying to like, there's 10 settings. 9 of them are like different, like lower stroke, upper stroke, the whole shaft. There's like an edging setting where it'll do it real quick for a second and stop. Do real quick, which I'm not into. Fuck that setting. And then the 10th one is the AI setting, where it'll randomly do one of the other ones to simulate, which was really not true, because most of the time, and this sounds, well, we're already this deep, I might as well.
It's no turning back now.
Most of the time, people have a particular style that they give a blowjob in, and that's the way they do it. So really, that's like having a schizophrenic on your penis giving you a blowjob if it does the AutoBlow AI. Does it feel good? Absolutely. What I was trying to say was I tried to like sample each of the settings, and I couldn't even make it to 9 before I busted that. And I'm talking like not crazy amount, but like maybe 20 seconds per setting to try and get a feel for it. And yeah, I couldn't hit 10 before I was like, who did it? You know, which is the noise that I make every time. Who did it?
I had heard. All right. So when we started quote unquote joking about this a couple months ago, I actually did look this up, and I had heard that. So just a brief history. All right. I've come close to buying some sleeves for myself. I've never actually done it. Which
we were going to talk about this too. We'll revisit history of sex toy purchases after you're done.
My whole since I've been sexually active, it's always been like feast or famine. Like I will literally go 2 years without having sex, and then just boom, it's just happening for me. And so those droughts, I've always been like, man, I should get a fleshlight. And I actually like personalized one, like bought it, had it in the cart. I was about to hit buy like a couple years ago.
You deleted it out of shame.
Oh, it's absolutely. And it's like weird, because I think back on that, I'm like, I'm not ashamed about that at all anymore. Like I would happily have something like that. But I did read that like, that's what people say about it. Like it's so loud, and it's not that it's like clunking machinery or anything, but there's a certain amount of like, concentration that you need, to dump your big old load into a robot. And we're just like, like I can imagine that being kind of like, ugh. I also heard that unless you have like a 12-inch cock, it's not really like working in its prime, which
that could be true. I mean, if we cut that in half, for us normal guys out there.
Right. It's 50% is effective for us here on the Cynical Nerd.
I mean, when it's talking about like it does the ranges, it does low and high. When it does high, I can feel it. It's just on the head though. It's just like someone's teasing just the head of my dong, So I can understand that. Is it the best masturbatory toy I've ever had in terms of like getting me off? Yes. Is it just like a blowjob? No. I didn't expect it to like, look, you can make all the claims that you want, but like if you're with a partner who was really good at blowies, you know what I mean. There's no replication.
There's just
There's nothing. I can't ask the machine to stick its tongue out at the end and let me blast the load on it. I just can't. I can't do that. I could, but it would be an extra messy mess to clean up later and probably would damage some component that I'm not supposed to get cum on. Here's the dying question. Is it worth $230? Because that's how much it is. No, because here's the thing. The difference between, to full transparency, you started this conversation the other day when I said that I had purchased one and you were like, when I was younger, whenever I thought about getting one of these, it felt like, no, I'm not a fucking loser. Like, I'm not buying a fucking fleshlight. You wanted to, but you felt like there's a stigma attached to it. And I felt the same way. I had, again, I don't remember having like huge droughts of not having sex, which sounds like I'm humble bragging. I'm not, but I don't remember going like 2 years at a time. But even still, I'm a pretty horny guy, and as are most. And there were plenty of times when I'm like, man, I'd love to fuck a fleshlight, but no, I don't want to buy one because that makes me feel like I've given up on trying to get actual women in bed with me. And that stigma is like completely gone. And I don't know if it's because I'm in like a comfortable, loving relationship where like my wife knows that I bought it. Obviously, I didn't buy it behind her back. She was like, I sent you a picture. She was like, oh boy, have fun. You know what I mean? Like. It's not like I got it in the mail and I was like, look at this and all the feature, but she knows I have it. It's in the house somewhere, She's probably found it and just hasn't said anything to me. But like,
I'm wondering if like all the times you've used it so far, like she's just asleep on the couch and then she's in the Disney, you're just like, and like her eyes just like dart open, bloodshot.
And she's like, God damn it. It's the third time today. But no, so, in feeling comfortable in that relationship, it was probably like 6 months ago, maybe longer. I'm terrible with time estimations, that I decided that, what, I'm an adult. I want to masturbate in style. My wife is not always raring to go every time I am because I am a horny son of a bitch. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to get this jerk off sleeve and I'm going to fuck it, So I've had 2 like sleeves.
And I can't wait for you to hand them down to me.
Yeah.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Appreciate it.
Gotta go fish them out of the trash. Yeah. Which are totally fine. They'll do it the old manual way. So the old horse and plow.
Back in my day, we had to move the fleshlight up and down ourselves.
And they were totally fine. Again, never will come close to like the real thing, but they were nice. They're much better than your hand. Here's the trade-off, more cleanup. And when you're done, the last thing I want to do is clean stuff up. So I didn't actually use them all that frequently. It was always like do I want to go, maybe I'm a little spicy tonight and go get the, fucking jerk off sleeve. And with the AutoBlow AI, it's like the same thing. It's like, I've used it 3 times since I got it. And every time I'm like, it's a lot of tertiary work. Like it's a lot of extracurricular activity. Do I think it's worth it? No, frankly. Does it do a good job? Yes. Would I recommend you try one? Yeah, but I don't recommend you spend $230 to try one. So you try mine. I will
That's
say
what
it's
like
cool.
I'm telling you, that's always been the thing that like ultimately dissuaded me from buying those. Is like I'm gonna dump inside of one. I'm gonna be really tired and pass out, and I'm gonna wake up and there's just gonna be just yuck in there, and then I'm just gonna throw it away.
That's what happened to the first one, not the second one. The second one ripped or something, I think, but which just also sounds like a humble brag. No, it's just the silicone wears out and the cheap ones, they were cheap. They were like $20 or something, which I absolutely recommend you mess around with if it's, cheap like that. Because they're fun just to play around with. But no, the first one, I think I was like, I've had this one long enough. I'm just going to drop a fat stinky one in there and go to sleep. And I did. And I woke up and I went, trash. I've gotten my fill out of you. Anyway, hey, welcome to the Cynical Nerd. Episode 52. I don't know. I was going to say something clever. I don't have a title yet.
That's got to be our strangest opening so far. Like, and I think the second strangest one, like obviously Scott used to be a co-host and he was the funniest one out of all three of us. I think that's an objective fact. And so we would always just kind of like talk for a little while until a really funny joke came out, usually from Scott. And then we would start the episode. I'd say the second most uncomfortable opening is, remember that time Scott came on and he's like, anyway, I'm real beat up about my dying dog.
Yeah.
He's like, do you guys think I should put him down? I think we actually topped that, which is like impressive.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
I had no shame in talking about it. We joked about like, oh, next week I'm going to do a review. And I was like, okay, I don't care. I'm a guy. I have a penis. I use that.
I actually appreciate, I thought you had a bunch of like jokes you were going to throw. Like that was like an honest review that I would read on
100%.
AutoBlowAI.com.
I don't know if they would publish it. Since I said I don't think it's worth the money, but AutoBlow, if you want to hit me up and get me your quieter model, if you have one that exists. And like in retrospect, when I realized it wasn't like battery powered, I was like, well, that makes sense. There's a lot of machinery in there. Like,
yeah.
What
did
size
you get the quieter
battery?
one? Like I think there's two models, and one was like very loud, and the other one they like boosted as being twice as quiet. But people were saying that one was still pretty loud. So I don't know.
I probably got
model you
the extra loud one.
Yeah, that would be hard to tune out during coming. I have to.
Well, I don't have any problem tuning it out. I mean, the issue is more so. Oh yeah, see, even the other one is like is fucking plug into a wall.
Yeah. We'll get there. The technology's just starting out. Give it another 10 years.
No. So, no, mine's supposed to be quieter.
Yeah.
The other
that's
one,
what I'm saying. That, like, people were saying even the quote-unquote quieter one was still really fucking loud.
Yeah, no, it literally says AutoBlow. It's the 2XT is like the cheaper one.
Right.
It says, is not silent. Its motor is louder than the AutoBlow AI, which is, I'm like, holy shit, really? Because, like... advertise to the whole house that you're fucking using a sex toy. I felt weary about just having a door between me and the rest of the world. My shame. Anyway, hey buddy, how you doing? How you doing today, Derek?
Not too bad. I'm good. I'm ready to talk about some things. We have kind of a light week. It's
we're almost 20 minutes into the fucking episode.
Yeah, I just looked over. I was like, oh damn, 20 minutes.
Oh boy, this one will go down in infamy. Yeah, so you're doing good, yeah?
Yeah, how you doing, buddy? Fresh out of cum, I'm sure.
Yeah, rethinking my life choices today. We got, like you said, light-ish week, and I actually, maybe I'm glad we spent 20-ish minutes on that, because I want to run through this week in review. Mm-hmm. I really feel like I have a lot to say about our main topics this week.
Me too. And I want, like, not much to say about anything else, so...
All right, let's do it. Yeah, I mean, some of these weekend reviews are just like, okay, you know what I mean? So first up on the docket, I haven't said that in a while. Final Destination 6 is coming back. They're making another Final Destination movie, FD, if you will, with John Watts, the guy who just directed all three Tom Holland very successful Spider-Man movies, which means Final Destination 6 is either a passion project of his that he's doing for a pay cut, or... they're throwing some mighty high shekels at that man to get him to come over and do a Final Destination movie.
He's producing, right? He's not directing, I don't think. I think he's a producer.
Oh, you're right. Look at me being a baddie.
Well, which still doesn't, I mean, it's still an important role in filmmaking.
Yeah.
I sound like a producer shill right now.
In filmmaking.
The producer's just as important as the writer and the director.
It's going to be debuting on HBO Max.
Tight.
This article insultingly says, because I guess that we've reached a point where no one has faith that a Final Destination sequel can make money at the box office.
I mean, can you blame them for saying that?
No, I can't. Look, I think the concept of Final Destination could be rich horror territory. Maybe they've already mined everything you're going to get out of it, but like we all think about worst case ridiculous scenarios in our heads all the time. Every time I pass an 18-wheeler on the highway, if it even veers towards me slightly, I'm like, oh my whole brain is like, oh, what if it just fell over and smashed the car, pancaked me? You know what I mean? Like people think about weird shit like that all the time. It's just how our brains work. So I feel like the concept could be done well if you have a good script and like a creative team behind it who's passionate about it. I don't know. Do I care about this? Absolutely not. If it comes out and it has good reviews, I will go, huh? And I will watch it at that point because it's going to be on Max, which means I don't have to pay to see it, which is chef's kiss. Other than that, I have nothing else to say about this. Cool.
I'm watching it. They're all like a guilty pleasure of mine. Like I know that they're not good. I mean, obviously, but they're enjoyable. Like you said, like just these stupid, crazy scenarios. Like I don't know, like series of events. Like one stupid little thing, like a fucking water bottle slipping under your brake pad causes like a 20-car pile up, and
right.
I don't know. There's just something. It's like horror porn to me. It's like you said it. It's like all the shit that runs through your head that you immediately go like, that would be ridiculous. What am I thinking right now? It sort of plays on that like weird primal fear that we have, and that's why I like them. So I even think the ones that sucked were still enjoyable for that reason. I think the most recent one was called like The Final Destination, and people by and large considered it like just the worst out of all of them. I still enjoyed it. I still thought it was good. Dude got sucked up by the escalator. You saw his guts flapping around everywhere.
We've seen that happen. I mean, you don't see guts flapping. You just see like a person disappears and there's blood, and you're like, oh my God, that mother's gone.
Yeah. Okay. So you're talking about the same video that I was just thinking of. So to this day, I swear to God, I saw that like 8 years ago. When I get to the top of the elevator, you know how there's that little like section there where that's where she got sucked into? I fucking hop over that shit. If it's 4.5 feet, I do it. I can't even step 1.5 feet, but I will leap across that panel. No way.
Make sure your shoelaces are tied.
And she had her baby in her hand, and she just passed it to a stranger. Take him, as she just like,
oh my God,
was just ground into just meat. Oh, terrible.
It's pretty horrible.
But anyway, so I'm going to watch the fuck out of this.
I mean, it's weird, but weird shit like that happens. And like I said, I think it touches on like this like phobia that we all have deep inside, that like some crazy shit's going to happen that we're going to be in the center of. And that's going to be how we go. And let me be honest with you. You should all wish that, because the way we're all going to die is probably boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Like heart disease or some basic bitch shit. Like you died because your kidneys failed because you didn't take care of yourself. Yeah. So we can all be so lucky to be chomped up by escalators. What I'm saying. Anyway.
Yeah. Consider yourself lucky. That lady that happened to should feel lucky.
Yeah. She should feel blessed.
If she could feel anything.
Oh, no. I was going to say hashtag blessed. And then I was like, that feels fucked. Okay. Next piece of news. Derek has no idea what this is, and in fact went so far as to tell me in the document that he has no idea what it is.
Just couldn't.
Derek, why don't you? So the title of it, I'll read the title, then Derek can read to everyone what he wrote in our doc for the week. Marvel's Werewolf by Night Halloween special adds the Nevers, Laura Donnelly.
Hang on, something just happened. Hang on. I'm sorry.
Oh, something just happened. It'd be hilarious if he actually heard something from my house, because I'm pretty sure I just heard my wife and son laughing, and it's something heavy falling downstairs. So I have no idea. I can take this time to shill. Welcome to Shill Cincinnati. Oh, home of the Crimson Shill. Sorry, if you get that Fairly Odd Parents reference, you'll get it eventually.
Sorry about that. Everything's fine.
Well, I was going to shill, so give me 2 seconds now.
Oh, okay.
Tweet at us at The Cynical Nerd. You can email us, questions@thecynicalnerd.com. Speaking of which, I'll have to slyly check that because I forgot to check the inbox today, just in case.
Oh, you got
another.
There's one in there.
There's one in there? Oh, is there? Are you sure?
Yeah.
From Christina?
Christine. Wow.
Oh, Christine.
Wow. Our super fan. And you're not
I'm
even saying her name
so
right. Jesus
sorry. You're right, Christine. You can find us on facebook.com/The Cynical Nerd. Derek wasn't kidding. There's an email in here.
Yeah.
That's because it's from Ron.
But she wouldn't tell me what was in it. So that's gonna be a
she
surprise
didn't
to me.
tell you.
She would not tell me.
Okay. So here we go. Well, we're gonna do it now. We had mentioned previously that if we got viewer interaction, it would be cool to do like a, welcome to the new episode, do our little intro, and then say, we got emails from last week, blah blah blah. Here's the corrections. Here's whatever. So we got a listener here, Veronica B. It's titled episode 51. Hey guys, just finished the last episode, and I gotta say, I feel like I'm following a media book club. Whenever Derek reviews the doc for the podcast, I end up consuming whatever trailer, movie, or game is on there, whether it's against my will or not. So when the topics come up, it's exciting to hear your reviews of something I just watched. I love that you both are playing through the same game right now, #best buds, and reviewing your individual thoughts about it. I think it's a good addition to do. I hope you guys play another game side by side again, aside from Elden Ring, which is a given. Lastly, I love all of the personal stories and situations you both have been peppering in lately. Well, you got a doozy this week.
You're gonna use your fucking words.
Yeah, I don't think you wanted that one. Chris, the story of being sad when Sam was sick was hilarious, and I love hearing about both of your lives, even though Derek's stories are about me or Odin. Keep up the good work, gang. Ron, that was such a nice positive email.
Really
Thank
nice.
you very much. It's the kind of thing where like you don't want to review yourself because like how much cockier and in a bubble could you get if you did that all the time? But there's no doubt about it. The dynamic changed when Scott left, right? Like you said earlier today, actually, Scott was hands down by and large the funniest one of the three of us. He was literally the one who kept us all. I haven't cried laughing since we've had Scott on the podcast. It's just the way it is. One of my favorite clips was unfortunately one of the last ones we got with him, which was the spermaceti.
Oh, I watched that the other day. Yeah.
It's so good. And I feel like we had this really magical thing of he would start something off and you and I would just bounce off of it and we get gold out of it. And so there's no doubt that, things change. But after we did one or two, we realized we're like, oh, but there's a new dynamic here that we also think works, which is it's much more analytical. Obviously, we still throw jokes in here, but we are not Scott level. And we like the whole peppering in personal stories is not like, I wouldn't say either of us have vocalized that we want to do that, but it's been happening organically. And we've both been like, oh, I really like that we're doing that. So that's very nice confirmation. And I thank you very much for the email, Ron. It means a lot.
Yeah, thank you, darling. If I said that loud enough, she would hear it through the wall, but I'm not going to do that.
Oh, boom. A little insider info.
Yeah.
Now I just have to have my wife step up and
Right. Yeah. Kind of fucked up she hasn't done that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you guys get a lot of listener emails. Yeah, from both of our significant others
and Christine.
Suck on that. We're super popular. Anyway, thanks so much. Appreciate the email. Guys, if you want to, I will read any and all email you send us, even if it's derogatory or insulting.
That's almost better. Like if you send us something and talk shit on us, like in a really mean way, that's almost preferable.
If in fact, if we do say something wrong, if you want to correct us, you can tweet at us or email. If you tweet, it's #FuckTCN and then the correction. Or if you just wanted to ask us a question, #, AskTCN, or again, email or Facebook or whatever you want. But that's it. Moving on.
Fuck TCN also means that you want to have sex with us. So it's like we have to sort of decide what you mean by fuck TCN.
Right. Double-edged sword. And we get to choose which edge.
Yeah.
So back to this weird article. So I read the title, which is Marvel's Werewolf by Night Halloween special adds the Nevers, Laura Donnelly. And then to which Derek retorted,
every word of this article is like Japanese to me. The more I try to understand it, the further away my grasp becomes. I feel like when you hand your 90-year-old grandma the iPad to have her read an article, Like no single name or reference makes any sense. I just don't understand. You will have to explain this to me very slowly with very small words. Like the more, like I felt like it was on acid reading this article. Like the more I like read a sentence over and over again. No, here's a better one. Remember when you were in like sixth grade and you were sleep deprived and you kept reading the same thing, like 4 paragraphs, and then you just went like, fuck, I don't remember any word of what I just read. So you would start over and do it again. There was just too many balls in the air on this one. I just couldn't follow it.
That's fair. It's a weird article. And again, one of the only reasons I put this in here was to say, I didn't know that. So Marvel's doing a Halloween special on Disney Plus. It is an actual Marvel Comics character. It's a book called Werewolf by Night. There's also another book called like Vampire by Night or some dumb shit like that. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, aren't all vampires by night? But anyway, I mean, there are plenty of vampires and occultist things in the Marvel universe. I mean, Blade, for fuck's sake, you know, there are vampires. There's Morbius and all kinds of shit. But this is a special book called Werewolf by Night, and they're doing a Halloween special for it. And I guess they're ramping up casting. They cast the star, who's going to be the werewolf, Gail Garcia Bernal. I don't know who that is. I only know the name. But Laura Donnelly, who was in that show that we all hated, is going to be in it. And that's the only reason I want to bring it up. So I could just go that it never sucked. And that one YouTube comment who said it was good. I still remember you. And
you never showed back up. You never showed back up, you fucking pussy. Fucking piece of shit.
I love that we had a plan for that guy, which was that we were going to we kindly baited him into reaching back out.
Buddy,
and then we were just going to be the most giant assholes. And honestly, just for a laugh, because I don't care if you like the Nevers.
Yeah.
Art is subjective. I mean, I think it subjectively was shitty, but everyone is, Derek likes all the Final Destination movies, even though we know that they're not good.
Yeah.
Air quotes. I have plenty of those myself. Anyway, moving along. I don't want to talk about that anymore. This is our last week in review topic. It's also a pretty short one because there's not a lot of news here. It's a picture, and I just get to rant about it. It's really what we're doing here. Okay.
Fair.
I sent Derek 2 pictures earlier, so he knows where I'm coming from. Because I wasn't sure
of his dick and one was of his balls.
Right, and then the third was of the AutoBlow AI, looking very satisfied after I finished with it. I've decided to name her Lucy. Sorry, I didn't name it. That'd be really fucking weird. I just bedazzled it. I don't know why that popped in my head. Anyway, Batgirl released we've talked about it before. And in fact, last week I said, hey, I'm not going to cover every little rumor that comes out about this. Well, they released the first official costume photo, so I'm going to talk about that shit. This is coming to HBO Max. It stars Leslie Grace in the titular role of
I want to do
Barbara
titular
Gordon.
Just because Tit is in it, and I just like
that's fair. I like that too. She's going to be playing Batgirl. We know that this is going to include Michael Keaton's Batman. There was a mural from last week from a set photo. It's also J.K. Simmons is going to be Jim Gordon. Brendan Fraser, the babiest of baby boys, is going to be playing Firefly, which is an interesting villain choice. He's never been on screen before. He's only been in the Arkham games where he was a decent side quest. Anyway, the whole point of this is to say that they released the photos, and I am unhappy with this costume. And I am unhappy with this costume because it looks like the CW did a Batgirl costume. And here's the problem. It's taking heavy inspiration from a very popular Batgirl costume redesign that happened in the comics in 2014. I sent you a picture of it. It looks just like it. It's unmistakable. The problem is that costume clearly doesn't translate to real life without looking like she bedazzled it herself. And it doesn't look like you can fight crime in that. It looks like you get the shit beat out of you wearing it. It's just like a fucking motorcycle jacket.
That's what I was going to say. It's literally a motorcycle jacket with a gold emblem, like bat symbol, ironed onto the chest of it. That's all it is.
It was a super popular run of Batgirl. They have since redesigned the costume once or twice again, but for my money, this costume doesn't work for me right now. Obviously, I'd have to wait until I see it in the movie. Maybe it looks better on camera. I don't know.
A movie.
Yeah, it's an HBO Max movie, but it's a movie.
Oh, I thought it was a show. Okay.
No, It's a movie, which is why I'm concerned that it looks like a CW costume. And here's what I keep thinking. If I have Leslie Grace as Batgirl in this costume standing next to Michael Keaton's Batman, does she look like she belongs there?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. The costumes don't complement each other in the slightest. I'm just not buying it from a design standpoint. It's a bold choice to go for that costume redesign. I think they should have went for something more like the New 52 reboot and the one that looks like the Arkham Knight Batgirl costume, which I also sent you, which is like the classic. She's in all black with gold accents, and she actually looks kind of fucking intimidating, in my opinion, in that costume. She looks like she's going to go fuck somebody up. She looks like she's ready for combat, as opposed to this one where it looks like she's about to solve the mystery of the missing pizzas. So she looks like she's about to do a teen mystery novel or something. I
really think that listeners, you should, you owe it to yourself to actually have like a frame of reference for what Chris is talking about. Cause he sent me these pictures earlier. And you'll be able to tell them the name of the issue or series of, Batgirl that you sent to me. It really does look good, but it brings up basically a point that we talk about a lot on the show. And that's that, staying true to the source material works sometimes, and sometimes it really doesn't work.
Yeah, that's the thing. This costume on the comic page looks great.
It looks incredible. It looks, it's very aesthetically pleasing. It doesn't necessarily mean that when you like yoink that and put it onto a real person, it's going to look good. And in this case, it does not look good. Again, this is audio only medium, so like some of the legwork just has to be done by you guys if you're interested.
Well, here, so the costume that this is clearly like replicating to almost like to a T. If you just Google Batgirl 2014 redesign, that's it. You don't have to include comic or anything. Batgirl 2014 redesign. All the images are of this comic, and then if you're looking at the one that if you're looking for the one that like fucking I want her to wear, you just look up Batgirl Arkham Knight. And you'll get like the first image result is the one that I sent you of her, like with the Batman Arkham Knight logo. I just think that look is so much more like realistic and like I'm going to fuck somebody up. And they could even alter it a bit so it looks more like Keaton's Batman, because if that's what's fucking me up right now. Like, look, it's pretty obvious that DC is using the Flash movie to introduce some new actors as familiar heroes, to let some exit. We know it's Affleck's last appearance as Batman. He's so far said very good things, but he's very much enjoyed the stuff he's done on Flash. I think I know why, but again, that's not what we're doing right now. So I get it. They're doing their own multiversal thing. If Flashpoint holds true, then there's different versions of these characters. Keaton is apparently coming in as like going to be the primary Batman when all this is done, but then pretty much quickly retire to a Batman Beyond type scenario where he's like which is fine because he's old as shit now. And I love Michael Keaton and I could totally see him playing the older mentor Batman to someone else. Whether it be Leslie Grace's Batgirl or another actual Batman, like Batman Beyond's Terry McGinnis or whatever. But I digress. If these two are in the same world and she's inspired by Michael Keaton's Batman, you would think her costume would in some way pay homage to that or look like it a little bit, as opposed to them just being like, let's pull this random comic redesign out of the page and onto. And they don't mesh to me, and I just don't like it. So that's a long-winded way of saying poo-poo. How's that?
Agree.
The end.
I second the motion of poo-poo.
Easy enough. Moving on. All right, we got our trailers. So the first trailer is for a little movie called Scream. It's currently out in theaters. Came out January 14th. It's only in theaters. Will apparently be on Paramount Plus soon. I don't know when they're doing that. That's probably when Derek and I will see it, because I would never ever pay to see.
No.
The fifth. Is it the fifth Scream movie? Sure, probably. There were four, right? Look, I've been hearing, I would say, mixed things. However, the ratio has been like 70-30 positive about it. Like I've seen most people saying that the kills are pretty great. Some of the people were complaining about story and stuff, but It's a horror movie. And
Does horror ever have a good story? I mean,
let's be honest. I don't know who I'm intimidating. I don't know who I'm imitating there. Not intimidating.
You intimidated me with that.
But I don't know. This last trailer's fine.
Yeah.
You know, I thought it was effective. Did you like it?
I did. I actually look forward to watching it. I look forward more than anything to rewatching the first Scream. It seems like sort of there's going to be a lot of callbacks to that. So before it does come, you know, to a streaming service, I'd like to watch the original and compare the two. I don't think it looks like, oh my God, I can't wait or anything. But as far as like slasher movies go, I thought the first two Scream movies were good when I was a kid. I haven't seen them since then. But yeah,
Samesies.
It looks good. I mean, Courtney Cox Arquette is her name.
Sure.
Yeah, didn't age
we
great.
Put her face on a trash bag.
Yeah, we did. But Neve Campbell, she still got it.
Did you mean to say Campbell, or was that?
Wait, that's her name, isn't it?
Campbell.
Campbell,
like the soup.
It's Campbell.
It's Campbell.
It's like a bell that you ring at camp. I'm not gonna back down on this shit. It's Campbell.
Episode 52, Camp Bell.
When you say Campbell, now just hang on. Let's focus on this for a second. When you say Campbell, you're saying Camble. I reject that.
I understand that. The P is silent. Campbell soup. You don't say Campbell's. Yeah, how do you even do that? There's Campbell's soup.
I would probably say Campbell soup. Yeah, I feel like you're really making it sound like I'm like Campbell, which is not what I'm saying. I'm saying Campbell. Campbell. Neve Campbell.
It's first off, it's Neve, so it's Neve Campbell.
It's Neve.
Anyway,
isn't it Neve?
You're probably right. I was just saying that to be a contrarian.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, I know you do. You know, that's why we love each other. Next up on the trailer docket, something I didn't even know was happening. They're making a movie, an animated film, if you will, off of the popular show Bob's Burgers. There's something I don't know about this. Have you ever seen Bob's Burgers?
I have tried to get into Bob's Burgers.
Oh, you don't like it?
A number of times. It's not that it's like, oh, this is so stupid to me. It's just like every episode it gets like one of these out of me, just like, and that's it. And there's no need for me to watch like 7 seasons just for, it's just not worth it.
For those of you listening to the audio version, he just exhaled sharply from his nose, as if not even a snort could be had.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, the voice acting's great. I get it. They're all quirky, but like, I don't know. It's just not for me.
Samantha and I love this show. Linda is hilarious. In the show, the wife, I don't know. We kind of fell in love with the show along with a couple of our close friends. Shout out Steve and Tiffany. Hey, I don't think they listen, but whatever. They kind of got us into it. Because Tiffany literally turned to my wife and was like, so Linda's basically you, Samantha? Which is more or less true. I mean, there's a lot of mannerisms there that she's like very quirky, but, you know. Anyway, I like the show a lot. And because of that, and I didn't know that they were making a movie, I'm clearly interested in it. It comes out May 27th. There's a ton of weird shit that happens in this trailer. I have no idea what the plot is. The like byline or the description, the summary of the movie says the story begins with a ruptured water main creates an enormous sinkhole right in front of Bob's Burgers, blocking the entrance indefinitely and ruining their last name is Belchers, by the way. The Belchers' plans for a successful summer. While Bob and Linda struggle to keep the business afloat, the kids try to solve a mystery that could save their family's restaurant. Who cares, right? If it's funny, it's funny. If it's not, it's not. I like the show. I love the voice cast. I'm forgetting the guy's name and I'm doing him a disservice, but it's the same guy that voices Archer. H. John Benjamin. Is just such an iconic voice. Unfortunately, I think he's only got one voice in him because he sounds identical in basically whatever. But that's okay. Like, nobody cares. Voice. No, it's a good voice to have. Yeah. If I had his voice, I would do the same thing. He paid lots of money to play the same character in multiple shows. They did a crossover at one point with Bob's Burgers.
He really is the Denzel Washington of voice acting. Isn't
100%. Yeah,
it's the same thing again and again.
Like, hey, Sean,
cares. He's so good at it.
You want to come in here and read for this? he does this. I wish I could imitate it at all. And they're like, yeah, we were thinking you do it a little bit more like, and he's like, no, I do
know
it.
what these people want.
Like he just talks. It's not even voice acting.
Yeah.
Have you heard him talk? He sounds exactly the same. I'm like, is this Archer? Anyway, looks all right. If you're into that, you'll like it. This is coming up next is a weird one. We heard about a Foo Fighters horror movie coming out. And lo and behold, a trailer exists. And so does a release date. It's coming out next month. It comes out February 25th. The movie is, I don't know if I would say hilariously titled. I would just say titled. Studio 66. I wouldn't even say ironically because it's just, I don't know, kind of silly. Look, they're not, they're musicians. They're not actors. Yeah. So the acting is not great in the trailer. However, I'm getting hardcore Tenacious D's Pick of Destiny vibes from this. Like
he literally does the exact tongue thing that he does as the devil in Tenacious in Pick of Destiny. What I was not ready for was the fact that the demons, quote unquote, that you see in this trailer are simple and frightening. Like if I saw little black creatures with red eyes in the middle of a forest, I would be scared out of my fucking mind because I'm a giant man-child. So like, When there's like a flash of him in the woods and they're like peering out behind trees and I was like, ugh, don't like it. Will I see this? Yes. Will I pay money for it? Absolutely not. Yeah.
Absolutely not. A streaming service or someone's Plex server. Hint, hint. We know you listen, Mr. Benson.
We know you're here.
We know where you are.
Anyway. It's a rainy day movie for me as well. Like I'm not like, oh, this looks so dumb, I'm not going to watch it. And there were a couple bits even in the trailer that were pretty funny. Like there was a part where Dave Grohl was like, "Hey guys, I've been working on something." He starts playing Everlong, and the dude's like, "Oh yeah, that's Everlong. You wrote that 20 years ago." And he's like, "Really?" Like there's clearly some capacity for humor there, but yeah, you said it. They're musicians, not actors, and that is so apparent even in the trailer. It's just like not. It's just not there. Yeah, when it's a rainy day, nothing else to do, I'll watch it. Other than that, not so much.
Right. I sent you a picture for the Nightmare Fuel.
It scared me because I thought it was still Johnny Knoxville jumping with the wings, but it wasn't. It's scary demon eye people.
Yeah, like they very
look
simple,
like sleep paralysis demons. That's really.
Oh, I don't like that. Yeah. They also look very like kind of like primates, like the way they're standing. Like, but horrifying. Anyway,
what's that bad movie you made me watch?
That I made you watch? There's probably a lot.
Run the Block? No, it's like
Attack the Block and go fuck yourself. That's a good movie. Hate you. I have a feeling it's not the last of our disagreements today. Okay, Jackass Forever's final trailer came out. We just talked about this last week because they did the featurette thing about meeting the cast. This is coming out super soon, so of course we're getting flooded with footage. Final trailer came out for it. Comes out February 4th. I just talked about this the other day, but February 4th we have like 3 things coming out. I listed them and can now immediately not recall any of them. Pam and Tommy, Jackass Forever, and Dying Light 2.
Nice. Got him.
Nintendo's Punch Out. I just won. Speaking of Nintendo's Punch Out, there's a bit in here that I actually can't wait to see. It looks like, what is it Aaron? Is that how you pronounce it? Aaron? The guy's like missing teeth, and he did like the
he did the totally culturally insensitive bit where they dressed him up like a terrorist.
It's also still one of the best bits that they've done because he was genuinely fucking terrified.
Yeah.
They tend to like use him as like the most real, like we're gonna trick you into crying on TV. Like it was so good. And in this one, they tell him, it's a pretty age-old gag for Jackass, that he's gonna get punched by like a fighter, and they tell him they're gonna get a lightweight, and the guy that they bring in is anything but a fucking. He's huge, and of course the trailer cuts right before the guy throws a punch, and I can't. I'm looking forward to it.
He's going talked for about the dick. You look at the trajectory of that punch. He's going for the dick. That's not gonna be good.
You talked about rewatching one of these recently with Ron, and I decided that I wanted to do that, so I went back and watched Jackass 3 the other night. Yeah, I mean, it's it's funny. to watch people hurt themselves. Like, I don't know what to say. There's like, maybe that makes me a primate, like on some level, and I'm sure that it does, but there's something I'm like, nah, I'm not going to find the same old getting punched in the dick humor hilarious at, the age of 34.
Yeah, you will.
No, it was great. T-ball right in the cup. Hilarious. You can't.
All you have to do is go to YouTube and type in people falling compilation, and I will be in tears. I won't be able to breathe. I'll be laughing so hard.
Yeah.
There's something primal there. I don't know what it is.
What really hit me this in Jackass 3, the one skit where I think it's literally just called T-ball or something, and they've got a T-ball stand that swings 180 degrees, and Steve-O's on the other side wearing a jockstrap, a cup actually, they always have to say, I'm Steve-O and this is blah blah blah. And he was like, I'm Steve-O and this is he was like, oh, why do I have to be Steve-O? He's like genuinely horrified. He's about to get hit in the testicles. Look, it's never not going to be funny. So I'm looking forward to the movie. Not a whole lot to say about the trailer besides, sure, can't wait. I'm not going to pay for it. Paramount, hurry up and get it on your streaming service. Or somebody find another way. Anything to add to the Jackass trailer?
No, you kind of hit it all. I mean, it's really like sort of, you just said it. We just covered it last week. I think we hit all the notes then. I mean, it just looks good. There's two reasons I'm waiting for it. And I think I went over this last week too. There's two reasons that I'm waiting for it to be playable at home. That's that. I'm not going to go out and pay money to see this movie. And the second one is that I want to be able to fast forward through the ones where they're like pissing in each other's noses and shit. That I can't stomach anymore. Did you watch like those segments when you watched the third one?
Yeah.
Wow. All right. You got a big old
specifically the one where like Preston's on a treadmill and they have him in a sweatsuit and they're collecting it in cups.
No, dude. No.
Oh, it's so fucking disgusting.
I can't do that kind of shit anymore. I used to think it was hilarious, but like something about, I don't know. I just can't do that anymore.
There's another one where they pan over and it's like this little iconic, like miniature, like model train set. And they pan over. And
dude, I'm pumping my fists right now. I'm like so uncomfortable.
Oh, I'm sorry. Out of one of the hills comes a shooting stream of diarrhea because one of them was just like had their ass painted like it was trees on a hill. It was pretty funny. Also disgusting. And everybody threw up like they always do. All right, we have one final trailer, and I want Derek to take the lead on this one. This is our Scoot request review.
So Scott requested that we review a trailer for a movie called Marry Me. And the premise of this is pretty simple. It stars J-Lo, and her rich fiance are going to get married on live television, streaming to 20 million people. And then right before she goes out in her wedding dress with the veil and everything, she gets some video sent from someone that her fiance is cheating on her. So she just randomly selects someone from the crowd to be the person she marries instead. And that person ends up being Owen Wilson. So there's one of two possibilities here. Yeah, exactly.
I'm sorry.
There's one of two possibilities here. Either we're covering the wrong trailer, right? There's another movie called Marry Me out there that like we accidentally are doing this one.
I made him send me the link. This is the one.
Or Scott is dunking on us because this is the stupidest fucking premise for a movie I've ever seen in my life. It's like the most milquetoast like white person movie that's ever been made. Like the people who like saw this trailer and want to go see it burp with both hands into a napkin every time. Like it's people who like clap when the plane lands. This was such a white trailer that like when it was done, I looked down. And I was in like Christopher Columbus clothing. Like I just had like a chest plate that had like Native American blood on it. It's just the worst.
Oh, God.
It's so white. It's too white. That's all I have to say about it. It was a really good dunk, Scott.
It was pretty good. I feel like the writers for this were like, all right, what's our premise? And they went, you know what show I really miss? The reality show 90 Day Fiance. But we're going to do that, but with like actual famous people that you want to see. And we already know the ending because it's going to be happy. This is like they make it a movie like this for every Valentine's Day starring various celebrities. what was it? Is it New York I Love You or some shit like that? You know what I mean? Like there's some I'm butchering it. I'm so sorry, but there's another very popular Valentine's Day film, and there's like one that takes place in New York and like Paris, and I Love You Actually, maybe I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, this movie looks like hot garbage. Like I'd never watched it in my life.
Owen Wilson is so unbearable. He's clearly just collecting a paycheck. He's like, I don't know, maybe we can make this work. It's so like,
something. I could leave you a note in your locker. Look, I will say this: J-Lo does not age. She is a beautiful woman.
She looks great.
Doesn't matter what she does. She's not gonna. She may never die. I think she might have found the secret.
Yeah.
I was watching this right before we went live, and I was like complaining about it to Derek while I was watching it, because the moment when she's on stage and she makes this crazy decision to marry this rando guy, she goes, I guess he's holding the sign for some stupid plot device reason, like they had to walk away. And she's like, yes, you. And she points to the middle of this huge crowd. And within a millisecond, he pops up on the screen. Like the camera operator knew the exact dude she was pointing at. Just boom, blew it up in his face. Stuff like that I know is such a.
It was
silly
Owen
nitpick.
Wilson's nose. It's a target. That's what he was like. Zoom.
That's
right
true.
on.
Yeah. What we didn't see is she said, "Oh, banana hammock over there," and that's that's how the guy knew. That's how he knew. Yeah, it looks so silly. It's like we've seen movies like this before. It's they're not right together, but oh, really they are, because they complement each other in true love. And I don't know. I'm sorry to say this. I gotta say it quietly. Samantha would probably really like this movie. I love her to death. She's got a soft spot for these.
Right.
Like The Wedding Planner with J-Lo. She loves that movie.
Okay.
So those are my off limits. Like we don't watch them together.
Right.
Because I can't. Every once in a while it'll be on a rainy day and I'll watch like a half hour of one and I'm just like,
you should do this one. You should make an exception.
That's her Final Destination. That's like her guilty
Right.
pleasure. Like she knows they're not great, but she likes them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So whatever.
Respect.
Really, what I'm saying is whatever makes you happy.
Even if it's Owen Wilson for some reason, which at this point I can't imagine why it would be him, but.
Wow. I'm sorry. I did that already. I did that joke already.
Okay. It was a good bookend.
It was a good bookend. Let's move into our reviews. Today.
Can I pee? Can I pee? Is it all right if I've been drinking Claws here.
That's why. There ain't no laws when you drinking Claws. Go ahead.
That's right. Okay. Could chill for the second time. That's weird.
I already did though. Yeah. I'm going to instead tell them something about you that you don't want anyone to know. No, I'm just kidding. That would be really fucked up. I don't think I know anything about you that you wouldn't want me to tell people. But just to set up the main topic, since we're about to dive in, we're going to go over we're going to do Eternals first, because that just came out to Disney streaming services. We both got our hands on watching it last week. Peacemaker episodes 1, 2, and 3. I have to tell you guys ahead of time. I know, and Derek and I have talked about this. I already know Derek hates the intro to Peacemaker, and I love it. And I don't know where he's coming from, and I can't see eye to eye with him on this, and we're gonna fight about it. I'm just warning you, because look, well, I'll save all the points that I think are good argument points for the actual back and forth. I won't spoil them here. I think me and the entire internet are correct, and that the intro is hilarious, and he's just an old curmudgeon. That's my thoughts in a nutshell. Old curmudgeon Derek. They can't enjoy anything fun. That's anyway. So we're gonna do Eternals first, then Peacemaker's first 3 episodes, and then we're gonna do Boba Fett episode 3 for the final portion of the show. Next week, I think we're gonna have Antlers on here. We were gonna do Antlers this week. I actually think we discussed it on last week's podcast. However, when we realized the Peacemaker released 3 episodes, we decided to just butt out Antlers because 1, Peacemaker just came out. It's more relevant of a topic to have a conversation about. And 2, that's just a lot for us to both watch. You know what I mean? Like there's a limit to how much free time we're going to have pod to pod to be able to consume media and talk about it on a weekly basis. So Next week, we'll do Peacemaker 4, Boba Fett 4, and then probably Antlers and something else next week. We'll probably figure it out as the week goes on. I feel like some other movie comes out, but I can't remember what it is. So
Probably.
play it by ear. Anyway, first up on main topics, Eternals. I know nothing about how you feel about this. I know that we talked a lot of shit on it before it came out.
Yeah.
And most of the shit that I talked ended up holding true for me. And because of that, and in light of the fact that I went first on all three of last week's topics, and when I listened back, I was like, man, shut up, Chris, you talk too much. I would like you to start off with Eternals. How did you feel about this film? First of all,
it's funny that you say that, because I was just saying to Veronica, I'll listen to episodes sometimes, and I'll go on a tangent for like 20 minutes, and then I'm like, anyway, what'd you think? And you're like, well, in the opening scene, I'm like, well, what I loved about the opening scene. So like now I just try to hang back and let you get yours out.
Really?
And then I pull my dick out. Yeah.
No, I think that's your perception, because I actually get to look at the audio feeds for both of us and how much we talk, and mine always looks thicker. So
yours looks thicker. You're just really throwing these in.
Hey.
Yeah, my dick just fits in the AutoBlow AI. I don't know. What do I say?
Barely.
I went into this film with very low expectations. I somehow convinced Veronica to watch this with me. I don't know how. I don't know how that worked, but we watched it together. Okay. We both had low expectations, and ultimately, like, I'm not gonna like try to hide how I felt about it too much. Ultimately, it was still like not great. Like, it wasn't a good movie. I was surprised by how not of a shit show it was. Like, I thought it was going to be like front to back, in and out, wall to wall, just terrible. It turns out that I think there were things that it actually did really well. One of them, most of all, was like most of the characters were very interesting. The overarching story, like, I hated. Oh, I can't think of her name. Cersei. Like, she was just kind of bland, and I never really understood why she was like chosen as leader. And
I haven't gotten to use the word milquetoast in a while, but that describes her character personality pretty well.
Yeah, she was very like middle of the road, but a lot of them were interesting. There was Fastus, who I really I loved their names too. Just this stupid tiny little detail. Clearly he's the god Hephaestus. Same thing with Athena being Athena. So on and so forth. Gilgamesh was in there. Yeah. I thought that there was a cool setting for the movie. That's one thing I thought was done well. Like, just that you have essentially these people these beings who have been mistaken for gods, for thousands of years. I thought that the overall sort of trickery of them being not beings, but robots, was a good twist. But overall, a lot of the acting was like highly bland. Some people did better than others, like Gilgamesh. I don't know that fella's name, and I really should, because he was the honey, soon to be dad from Train to Busan, who was really the only very enjoyable part of that movie for me. Angelina Jolie was great. The guy who played the fella who could control people's minds, I thought did really good. I feel like he's the next big thing. He's just really
fun fact, he's in a mystery role in the Batman film. And some people think they were setting him up for a sequel to be like another Joker.
Right. He's great.
That was the rumor.
A rumor.
Druig, that was his name.
Druig, that's it. Yeah. I really didn't like Kingo, whose name I'll never remember, unfortunately, because he's a great actor, funny guy. Everybody did good. The world it took place in was good. Here's what I think was the issue was. I don't want to be too jumbled with my thoughts here. I think that they grabbed an indie kind of art house director. She won the Academy Award for Nomadland. And I think they wanted to put a new spin on the MCU, because everybody talks about how they're shallow, and there's the whole like Martin Scorsese debate. And so I feel like they got this art house director who had clearly proven herself. She won an Academy Award for Best Director for Nomadland, to try to bring more emotion and sort of like a rooted feeling to this movie. it feels like there's this constant tug and pull between, oh, this is an indie artsy film and this is an action Marvel movie. And like no side really ever got to fully get what they wanted. And so neither of those things got to succeed. One thing I thought that was interesting is throughout, I thought that the lighting reminded me of The Revenant. Turns out she was trying to emulate the natural lighting of The Revenant. It was not natural in Eternals, but in any event, the Deviants were a totally soulless, both in design and story, just like bad addition to the movie. The resolution of the individual characters, most of them, I actually really enjoyed. Like I felt like their arc complete, and I felt happy for seeing it complete in a realistic way. I felt like their sort of drives to their character were very believable. Again, like Fastus was just very like, I don't care about, like, I'm a human now, essentially. But realizing that like this family that he had built with his husband and son was endangered finally made him go like, okay, I have to be a part of this. If I don't step in, the rest of these people are going to fuck this up. So,
right. And he got a chance to shine. He was holding Icarus down. He was fight.
Incredible. I loved his whole character. I loved that scene.
And I thought that there was, sorry to interject, but I'll end up forgetting this later when I talk about my thoughts, is that they did an interview with his character, and he was like, when they gave me the call, my biggest concern was like, oh, well, I'm kind of a big guy. Like they're going to make me go work out and do exactly what they did to Kumail Nanjiani.
Yeah.
He was like, no, yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah.
They were like, he's like, no, they were fine with me looking the way that I look, putting on a superhero costume. And he was like, it was very empowering for me as a black guy who's got a little bit more weight on him to not feel the need to become, this chiseled Marvel stereotype. So,
yeah. I thought that the introducing, I wish it was used more, but I thought that Thena's sort of, I don't know what you would call it. I want to call it rampancy, but that's a Halo reference. Like she kind of loses her mind from time to time. I thought that scene in Babylon where I can't think of Salma Hayek's character's name, Ajak, was saying like, I can fix you, but you're going to lose all your memories.
The sink cleaner.
And what's that?
The sink cleaner, Ajax.
Yeah, exactly. And Gilgamesh was basically like, no, like I'll just watch her forever so she can keep her memories. She can be crazy. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. There was a lot. I'm rambling now, but there was a lot it did well, but overall it just came across as jumbled. I didn't give a fuck about Icarus. Jon Snow's character, I know that's Kit Harington, I'm sorry. It was just like unbearable every scene he was in, and he was like overrepresented in the trailers for a dude who had like 6 minutes of screen time.
He's there to set up future stuff.
Right. I think he's like the anti-King Arthur, or he has the anti-Excalibur or something.
Like the Black Knight or something.
Yeah.
Did you see the teaser at the end?
Right, yeah, and that's supposed to be Blade's voice.
And did you hear Mahershala Ali? Because I actually got kind of excited about that. I like him.
No, that was cool.
I was gonna cut you off after that and be like, well, hang on, we're doing details now. Let me give overall thoughts. And we'll go back to details.
Okay.
So no, I surprise, as is the case in like 80 to 85% of stuff we talk about. I agree with most of what you said on this. When we were talking shit on this film, just to be transparent, I talk way more shit than I actually mean because it's funny. Like, right. I didn't actually expect this movie to be dog shit. It's Marvel. They put a lot of money into this movie. At best, it's just going to be boring. And for this movie, the word that I would use if I had to pick one is like middling. Like it never, like you said, it never really achieved anything. I thought some of these they had like really great ideas sprinkled in this movie and nothing was allowed to grow.
Yes.
Like Thena's memories. That was really cool. And I liked the whole concept. I thought Angelina Jolie was going to be there for like eye candy and some stupid one-liners. And she had a really cool arc in this movie. I agree. Cersei was boring. Some of the character motivations, like you said, were believable, but unfortunately they were put in these situations by the dumbest fucking plot of all time. Like, we knew it was coming because we were complaining about it. It was in the trailer where I think his name was Dana Whitman, his Jon Snow's character.
Mm-hmm.
I think he says like, "Where were you?" When he like kind of finds out who she is, he's like, "Well, where were you when Thanos was here?" And like half the population. And like the answer is like the dumb. It's like, oh well, we're not supposed to intervene unless exactly the enemies that only show up in our movie and no one else's show up, and then we're allowed to
interfere the whole time anyway.
Yeah, my favorite part is like she's like telling the story. She's like, we were supposed to not interfere with humans, and then the next scene was them showing up and like watering crops and shit, and then like the next shot was them in like a fucking kingdom that they had built to like honor. Like I was like, oh my god, there's so many contradictions in this movie. And like you said, it's interesting because it's like they wanted to tell this huge epic scope of a story. Like these people have been here for hundreds of thousands of years and blah, blah, blah. And some of that stuff worked, but when I say some of it worked, I mean like a line here that was interesting or a concept there that was brought up, but again, never allowed to like blossom into this fully formed thing that might have been a more interesting journey if you just had a movie about these people and like their relationships because of how long they've been on this fucking planet. You know, it's not crazy to think that a guy who can control minds would eventually get so tired of seeing people killing each other that he does like almost like a weird cult in the woods where like no one fights each other because he just stops it. He's like, no, just live together. You know what I mean? The final fight was so over the top stupid and like, the plot was, like I said, super dumb. Thanos had deviant genes in him. That's why he didn't look the same as like the other people that he's a member of their like species or whatever. There's like a deviant gene or something, but all that Marvel shit's convoluted, and now they're trying to like simplify stuff for movies, and they're doing it in a weird way because now they're saying that those Eternals are machines, but then like Harry Styles shows up, who's supposed to be the brother of Thanos, but is he a machine? Because if so, then is Thanos a machine? Like you know what I mean? It's like, what's fucking real and what's not? I mean, ultimately, it doesn't matter if they can think and feel on their own. Then I wouldn't call them a machine, but you know what I'm saying? Were they built by somebody else? I don't know. The deviants were incredibly dumb. The celestial like seeding worlds and like tricking the Eternals and wiping their memories was again kind of a neat concept.
Yeah.
But was only really reflected in Thena's story. Like it didn't really affect anyone else. So there are consequences here for what happened. What's going to happen to these guys? Because they're probably past their date of expiration. Like they're, you know, now that they stopped the celestial from coming out, did they need to get their minds up? Are they all going to start going crazy? Who knows where they're going to show up? Who knows? But yeah, there was some cool stuff in this movie. Ultimately, I felt basically about exactly as I expected to feel about this movie. I'm so glad I didn't pay a dime for it. I never would have.
Yeah. Even Veronica actually, you know, she didn't say it was good or anything, but we agreed that we went in expecting like holy shit bad, and it wasn't that bad. No, it was not holy shit bad. I have to say honestly, that the before I forget, because I will, just because last week we were talking about with Ghostbusters, like predicting what was going to come and then like it happening and still being okay with the fact that it was totally predictable. We like knew that Thena was going to go through that whole, like right up to it. We're like, oh, you're going to think she's losing her mind. She's going to break out of it and go, I remember, and kill the guy. And we're like smirking to ourselves or whatever. And then that scene happened exactly as we said it would. And we were still like, that was really fucking cool. That was a great scene. She was a fucking badass. I mean, truly, if you see, was it Sprite? Was that the one? Winding, the little younger one? Sprite,
who was like, it was kind of, again, a neat idea, not so much left to be fleshed out, which was that the reason we have all these tales of Athena and you know, and Gilgamesh and stuff is because, you know, Sprite's been there weaving these stories into these cultures that they have been a part of over the centuries. And, you know, Athena being, you know, goddess of war, really lived up to her name. I mean, she fought the Ro, I think is the name of the main deviant, ROH or RHO, I think.
Sure.
Who cares, right? Just the big one that could talk back.
Yeah.
But when she kills that thing, it's a fucking badass scene.
Yeah.
Super fun. Yeah, but no, I don't. If you like Marvel stuff and you want to watch something a little different than normal, but don't have your expectations too high, then this is the right movie for you.
Yeah.
I don't know what weird niche this falls into. I remember it getting kind of middling reviews when it came out, and honestly, I think it's pretty deserving of those. Like we said, I mean, it's not a shit show, but it has a lot of squandered potential and some truly just stupid shit in it that that's the end. But that's the end. All right, look. Here we go.
Let's do it.
Derek and I disagree vehemently about one thing in particular, revolving around our next topic, Peacemaker. I don't know how he feels about the rest of the show, but I have a feeling we're pretty much on the same page for the rest of it. I could be wrong, but I think I'm right. Peacemaker's intro. Okay, it's played to a background of, which is hilarious. It's like an 80s song, like straight out of the fucking 80s, like Twisted Sister or Poison. However, James Gunn found a band that made this song in 2010 called Wigwam, who you've probably never heard of, and probably got fucked on the royalties for this because now they're going to be way more popular. And there's a recurring theme of like 80s music because Peacemaker loves 80s music, and the whole entire intro is a super tongue-in-cheek dance number, and I think me and most people on the internet think it's hilarious, and Derek is in his corner being an old curmudgeon about it and doesn't like it.
I don't mind being in this corner alone. It's the worst thing I've ever seen. I'd rather have AIDS in my eyeballs than ever watch it again. And I'm going to tell you something. I watched it the first night that it premiered, and I was like, I'm cringing so hard that my teeth are shattering. Like my wisdom teeth grew back in and then like just shattered in the back of my mouth, and now I'm just vomiting blood. And then like you said, you really liked it, and I was like, maybe I have a thing legitimately where like if I'm in like not a great mood or even like a blah mood and I watch something, it could be the best thing in the world, but I'm in that mood, so I apply that mood to what I'm watching.
Yeah.
So like when I watched the other two episodes, I went, all right, I'm going to watch it again because he clearly loved it, and maybe I was wrong. I wasn't wrong. No,
you're
wrong.
Fucking totally wrong.
Terrible, dude. It is so fucking, it's like the zenith of all cringe. It's like just being self-aware doesn't automatically make it like ironic and funny. It's just like everybody comes out there like going like this. It's so, dude, I hate it. I don't know how to even like form it into words and like articulate it, but it's so fucking corny.
Given that you and I have so many overlapping interests, I legitimately have such a hard time understanding how you hate this so much. Yeah, I mean, I keep hearing you use this word cringy, and I'm like, how is it? To me, something can only be cringy if like they're doing it seriously and it's just really awkward and bad. Like they all have dead face on as if they're being puppeteered. They're doing really fucking hilarious and awkward looking dance moves, which is one of the reasons I love it. They literally come out, they're like, I'm not kidding. I'm gonna tell you a secret. I have watched the intro at least once a day since the series came out. I watched it today.
Don't tell me.
In fact,
that.
I went, we're going to have a podcast tonight. I can't wait to watch it. I unironically love that song that plays in the intro. I've listened to it a couple times.
I'll say the song itself is catchy. Like it's not, I'm not like, wow, what a good song, but it's like, I wouldn't mind hearing it without having to see that nightmare that's happening alongside it.
I love it.
It's
they
terrible.
include characters from the show who are so like unimportant. Like it's the fucking next door neighbor to his dad's house, who like the only interaction they had was like, oh, fuck you. It's like, oh, fuck you. I don't know. I just love
and then there's more
thing.
throughout episode 1. And that's why I was worried with this show, because there's like more of those stupid, like he sleeps with the one butterfly and then he's like doing a stupid little dance in his tighty whities.
We saw titties.
We did see some titty. There was some titty.
And then later we see a shot of a Gigi.
of a Junior.
This is a very hard R show. I kind of forgot that, and then I was like, oh, he's totally buff naked fucking this chick against the sink, and I was like, okay.
It had me worried for the rest of the show. Here's the thing. Here's the silver lining. The rest of the humor in the show is very good.
It's very funny.
It really is a hilarious show. I feel like it retains
so happy.
The same humor from the Suicide Squad. I
didn't
worried,
like that we were on opposite ends for even those couple minutes. It didn't feel good.
Didn't feel good. It really didn't feel good. We're back, baby. We're back. I'm your AutoBlow AI. It's me.
Oh, hey, tell me how much you loved it.
Gotta clean my throat. Anyway, anyway, and the show is interesting. It's like, you know, they have this goofball vigilante that came in. I don't know really how to break down the show. It's just a goofy good time.
No, it's so goofy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really like the show so far. There's an underlying mystery here that even me being the DC fuckboy quoted by myself that I am. I don't know what the butterflies are. I haven't looked them up. I'm just trying to have a good time with the show, and obviously they're meta powered. They might be alien. I'm not sure. He's got this little weird thing that he found that looks alien.
Thing. Yeah.
I have no idea, but I really like all the characters. The characters all have like depth and like weird, except for like the guy who's the Amanda Waller stand-in, but he's funny enough whenever he's around that like I don't really care that his backstory is not interesting.
You know what I think it makes it important is when like every character is very distinct from one another, and we've talked about this with TV shows before, where like you have a whole like ensemble cast, and like but three of them kind of have the same goal or the same personality or the same whatever. Everybody is very, very different on the show, so you can expect like different viewpoints. I think that's what makes like the group conversations so funny. Is the way that they respond to it and their own little weird, quirky defense mechanisms when someone like pokes fun at them.
Hey, Diebeard.
Yeah, Diebeard. Yeah. He's fucking hilarious. Like every interaction they have is so great. But
Steve Agee, I think his name is. Yeah.
He's
really
great
funny.
Voice too. My God. He has a like radio announcer voice. No, it's I really don't know how else to dive deep. It's kind of just a goofy show so far. Like nothing like wow has happened, but it's not what it's going for. It just wants you to have a silly good time, just like we did with the Suicide Squad, and it's achieving that so far. And the dance numbers stopped after episode 1, so
they did. Yeah. No, there have been moments in every episode so far that I have laughed audibly, which is always a sign of a good show. I mean, I was thinking about the last one where you're seeing what we knew was going to happen, right? They're obviously showing us that to become someone like Peacemaker, you come from a really fucked up background. And I do know about his father. They called him White Dragon, I think, in prison at the end of the last one. That's a supervillain. He was so they're alluding to basically his father was like a really racist Nazi-inspired supervillain named White Dragon. And you know. So we know they're trying to build this up as like he comes from a broken household and that's why he believes the things that he does. And the show is trying we'll see how it works out I wouldn't necessarily redeem him, but make him realize that maybe the things he believes are not so cut and dry. You know, there's a really hilarious exchange. And I think it's like the first episode where the guy in the hospital finds out that he's Peacemaker. Aside from like the Aquaman fucks fish joke, which is just a hilarious, like, of course he's bullshitting. His buddy says Aquaman pays the guy at the aquarium to go in the back with a fucking, he says some kind of pike or something. But he's like, Peacemaker, aren't you the racist guy who shoots all the black people? He's like, no, I don't just shoot black people. He's like, I think your ratio is like they're basically arguing the ratio of like white people to black people. And
he's like, all right, I'll try to shoot more white people, but no promises.
but there's a lot of like this, you know, there's this very slow, and it happens amidst all the jokes and amidst all the other plot revelations, but there's this really slow chipping away at his worldview to maybe help him think that, you know, things he's looking at are obviously his dad's a huge piece of shit, played super well by, I forget his fucking name, but he's always played like bad guys. He's a bad guy in Terminator 2. And he kind of, I mean, hopefully he's not that way in real life. I hope he's a sweet man, but he just oozes like bag of shit every time and we heard it. It's a hard R show. Like one of the first conversations they have, he drops an F-bomb, and we're not talking about the word fuck.
Yeah.
He was like, is that the F word who shot you? Or please don't tell me that's the F word. And, you can see instantly the kind of upbringing that Peacemaker had.
So, and I actually, I appreciate that. I don't appreciate, I'm not saying I enjoy hearing those slurs, but it's just shows don't really do that anymore. Or they find some weird way to like skirt around it where like we, the viewer, have to piece together. And it's like that Louis C.K. joke, like, well, now I'm just saying the word in my head. Like you could have just been the one to say the word, but now you just tricked me into thinking it. It's with cultural sensitivity, which obviously was an important thing. We kind of veered away from that, but now it's like there's so much of just saying it without saying it that it's almost like refreshing to see. Well, the whole point is this guy's a fucking piece of shit. And the fact that he said the non-fuck F word in the first episode is like, like you, the view, like it gets you mad. You're like, fuck this guy. And you can see why. Well, you just said it. You can see why Peacemaker grew up with these sort of dated views, but you can see him peeling back from them. He knows his dad's an asshole. He just can't really admit it to himself yet. No, I think it's shaping up to be very interesting. It's toned down on the dance numbers. It's very critical for me. It's very important to me. And it's a good time. TSS was a good time, and it's retaining that sort of.
Hopefully, it stays that way. Yeah.
Is there like a lot 10 episode plan?
I actually don't recall how many it's going to be. I want to say 8 for some reason. I will look it up. It's and I gotta say, Cena is doing a really good job because there's a lot of subtlety in. I mean, in that conversation that they had, him and his father. When he says that to Peacemaker, you see that he instantly shuts down in conversation, and but he like relies on his dad for a lot. His dad's we find out the supplier of his gear, who's got some weird like black hole room that just whatever, who cares, right? Superhero stuff.
Yeah.
And I always love it. It's a tell. It makes things, if you watch a lot of movies like telegraphed, you're like, oh, okay, I get it. What's going to happen. But they at the beginning of that episode, they introduce the new helmet he picks up because he had to give away his old one to get a taxi ride home from the hospital. Yeah. And that new helmet he's got has a power that just so happens to save his life from the fucking butterfly at the end of the episode. And I'm okay with stuff like that. It's called foreshadowing. And if it's done right, it doesn't feel like you're getting beat over the head with it. This is only going to be 8 episodes, which actually makes me a little sad because we've already seen 3 of them.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But that's fine because that means they wrote just enough to have the series and it won't overstay its welcome, which is always a huge concern, especially for something that's this funny. I mean, I don't remember her name. Jesus Christ, the white woman on the team that he's kind of like fallen for because he thinks she's a badass,
right?
And like her first scene in the bar when he shows up and he's literally, I mean. Pay respect. The guy's putting all his cards out on the table. He's like, I have been in prison. I haven't seen a woman and blah, blah, blah. He's like, we don't have to even like each other. You don't have to look at me or whatever. I just need to see a boob or something. And she, you could see before he got there, she was getting shit from these other bags of shit. And then Peacemaker comes in and does it himself. And she kind of flips out. And she has this kind of, I thought it was a well-acted moment of like, she's like, I can't just have a fucking beer. Like I can't go anywhere without getting bothered. And I can't even, it's one of those situations where usually this happens in much more sensitive conversations like race, but even in a gender role, like I can't imagine being in that position. Even if I was an attractive man, I can't imagine walking into a bar and being bombarded with people who will just want to like fuck me. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't happen.
I actually thought that was a really smart scene because we see like she sits down and the asshole approaches her, and like immediately when she doesn't play into it, he's like, oh, you fucking ugly bitch or whatever he says to her. And then we see like the opposite side of it. And like, I feel like there was some part of like some seed of misogyny that's still in my head that when John Cena was like, look, I'm not like just the pure honesty of it. Like him just being like, look, I've been in jail for 4 years. I'm just trying to fuck. And in my head, I'm like, yeah, I get that. That makes sense. At least he's being honest. And then, yeah, exactly. She says that line, like, I'm literally just trying to have a beer. And even though you're being nice about it, and that guy was a dick about it, you're both just trying to fuck me. Like, I'm not just like a thing for you to stick your dick in. I actually thought that was a really smart scene.
I did too. I liked it a whole lot.
Yeah.
Last thing I will say, because right now we're just kind of commiserating about how much we thought it was funny as a series, is the gag in the last episode. There were two. One of them, as notable, was Vigilante, who's clearly also got his own fucked up worldview and motivations. And like, Cena won't take the shots on this family because they're kids. He's having a really hard time, even though he's told everybody he'll kill every man, woman, and child to achieve peace. He does not want to actually do that, and Vigilante is more than happy to do it. And as he's doing them, he's doing the baby bear, mama bear.
Oh
thing.
yeah.
And I couldn't stop laughing because he's like, and Papa Bear said, and then he gets taken out. And the last thing I will cast aspersions to is the embarrassing pic on your phone that you didn't want anybody to see when they're doing the mission plan for it. I'm so bad at remembering the team members.
Yeah,
names.
I don't
It's
remember
the black woman who was also in like Orange Is the New Black.
Yeah,
she's related to Amanda Waller. That's why she's on the job. They don't know that yet, but she's got the iPad out and she's swiping through these sensitive photos, and then she swipes to one, and it's just a vagina, and it's a bitch. And so Peacemaker, because he's an infantile humor, and let's be honest, we probably all laughed too. He was like, "Oh my God." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. My wife sent that to me." And Peacemaker, because he's a bag of shit, was like, "Your wife?
Yeah.
Oh, we should have known." Blah, blah, blah. And she's so embarrassed. And then she's like, "Oh, I didn't realize it was going to sync the pictures from my phone to my iPad." And I'm like, we've all been there.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't flashed my dick to a room full of coworkers yet, but it's probably in the pipeline somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. If they play their cards right. All right. We got one more thing to talk about. That's Boba, episode 3.
Boba.
And I mean, I don't really have a lot to say about it, to be completely honest. I continue to like each episode, I think, a little bit more than the one before. I like this one the most. I still don't know what the point of the show is, besides being a vehicle for them to make more things with a famous name on it, like Boba Fett, and also to do small cameos that appease hardcore fans like myself. This episode is no exception. Danny Trejo makes an appearance as a Rancor handler. The whole, because I know you haven't seen a lot of it, the whole like, no, Rancors aren't just vicious beasts, like they are kind of like, you can, they're trained to fight. Basically, they're pit bulls of animals that just happen to be giant monsters.
Right.
That's all been fleshed out previously on Clone Wars and Bad Batch and stuff. There was a baby Rancor that they were like, oh, they're not like inherently vicious. They're just like trained that way because they're huge and strong. It feels like it comes out of left field in the episode, though. Like, if I'm trying to watch it objectively, I'm like, the only thing we've ever seen on film of Rancors is the beast in the den of Jabba's palace. So to see one and then to immediately have Danny Trejo do exposition about how they're actually not that way, you're like, huh? So that's a case where, like, to someone like me who has seen the background stuff, and I'm like, oh, cool, they're bringing this into like live action. And I'm like, this is probably kind of jarring to people who don't know that stuff. I will say this, I've been waiting for the episode when that motherfucker got in his own back to tank. I was waiting for someone to get in that tank. That fight with Black Chrysanthemum was fucking hardcore. Lucky for him, he had the equivalent of the biker gang from Back to the Future 2 as his new friends. They even rode retro futuristic stuff, and they defended him. It's just lucky that they were there. I don't know. I don't know where this is going. So it's hard for me to, I feel like I even might want to say, like, let's just review it at the end. Like, I don't, because we're doing episode to episode, and like, while people might enjoy hearing me point out like Easter eggs or something, I don't feel like it's worth it, to be honest.
I agree. I wouldn't mind actually just reviewing it at the end, because I really don't have much to say about the episode. Really, the only things I have to say are this. One, I agree. The show is kind of coming around to me. I don't think it's great or anything, but it's definitely like the first episode, I was like, yeah, this is a 2-episode rule and I'm done after the next one. The following one was like good enough. This one was an actual like good episode. Not great, but it was good. There was this weird quality to the beginning arc where like he is hired or tasked by a merchant to go get stolen material back from those kids. He goes to the kids and they're basically like, No, he's hiking up these prices. Like, we had to do what we had to do. It felt like a quest line from Knights of the Old Republic. Like, it's always like you're given a task and you set out, and when you get there, it's never quite what you think.
Things aren't what they appear.
Yeah. And you have to make a decision once you get there.
Renegade or Paragon?
Yeah. Clearly went Paragon on that one. I thought that the scene...
Oh, also, sorry to cut you off. The guy that... Terrific character actor who plays that guy. I forget his fucking name. I hope we see more of him because he's great. He's a great actor, and I don't think he does enough stuff. But continue.
The fight between, I don't know why this happened. I think we might have been a little stoned, but we were watching the fight between the Black Wookiee. Feels mean to say that, but everybody knows who I'm talking about. Say it one more time.
Black Chrysanthemum.
Black Wookiee. Anyway, so he attacks him when he's in his tank. He's in his underwear, and I don't know why, but I was like, he kind of looks like naked, sweaty Joe Rogan right now. And we envisioned that entire fight scene as Joe Rogan fighting a Black Wookiee, and we were like in tears laughing. It was just so. Anyway, no, people are talking about how the pacing of the show is off, and it is, but I'm coming around to it. I think it's not too bad.
Hey Ron, thanks for the email. I made a joke about the biker gang and stuff like that, but we don't get to see that a lot. I actually thought that the whole angle was interesting. We don't get to see young people in the Star Wars universe that are just trying to live their lives.
Oh yeah.
Veronica
showed me a picture of Frank covered in the hand sanitizer with the Boba Fett logo at the bottom.
Yeah. I mean, we don't get to see that a lot in Star Wars. These kids that are just trying to grow up, they're not, they're not off on an epic quest. They're not doing. So I thought that was actually kind of neat. The bikes, the whole chase, the mayor's maitre d' or major domo thing did feel heavily inspired by Back to the Future. I mean, so much so to the fact that when he crashes into a truck full of shit that then spills into a speeder. Like, I literally was like, Biff, is that you? I'm not mad at it. It's just, I was like, immediate callback to that. But you're right. I didn't look at it like that. That whole, like, the water, he's hiking up the prices did sound like a quest from, like, the Old Republic. It's a cool way to look at it. There's a little bit of intrigue here still about who's pulling the strings, and I guess that's kind of the major mystery of, like, who's actually, is it the mayor? It looks like it's the mayor at this point. It looks like the mayor's allied with this Pike Syndicate, and they're kind of pulling the strings, but, like, the Hutt cartels, from what we know, are not anything to fuck with, so it's just weird. I'm just, we're just navigating the waters along with Boba. And Ming-Na Wen's character, Fennec Shand, who has been pretty good, but kind of underutilized so far, I think. I thought it was cool that, I don't know. Part of me is like, Boba's given way too much leeway to everybody around him. Like, just, again, and
I agree. Yeah, I agree.
It's kind of this thing where, and we talked about it when we first talked about the show, where the last we knew of Boba Fett, he's this ruthless bounty hunter who only cares about making credits. And then we start the show, and he's way, because of what we saw in Mandalorian, they retconned him, so to speak, to be a true Mandalorian, and he's got this underlying sense of honor and respect, and that's what we're seeing in the show. And my younger self brain and my current brain are having trouble letting those two things mesh and be one character. Because they're kind of not. The Boba Fett from Empire Strikes Back, I would have shot Black Chrysanthemum with, like, I had a second thought. I don't even think it's a question. Like, credits or not. He just lets that motherfucker go when he almost just broke his back. Can you imagine getting a fucking squeeze from a Wookiee? He's about to die.
Yeah, that bothered me. Where I can't even remember what he said, but he was just like, I agree. I thought that was dumb. Not that he necessarily should have shot him in the face, but at least, like, all right, to tie him back up.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get, like, he keeps telling everybody, he's obviously got a plan. It just doesn't feel super in character. My brain's still having trouble just going, this is what they want Boba to be now. I just have to accept that if I'm going to have any enjoyment from the show, because he's clearly got a plan. I mean, his plan is to show strength, but to also show leniency so that these people come back as allies. I'd bet any amount of money that whatever final battle this show has, Black Chrysanthemum's going to come help him fight it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I get it from that perspective. It just doesn't feel like something Boba Fett would do to me.
Yeah.
So I just have to keep, like, telling myself, like, but just whatever. Try to just enjoy the show for what it does. Yeah, that's kind of it. The only thing I'd point out is the weird stop motion animation spider thing from the trailer is in this episode. They opened it up with that. There's a name for them. It's like an order of like monks that put their brains in these. If you see the spider, it's got like a little orange ball with liquid in it.
Yeah.
The head. There's a brain in there. It's this order of monks who like detach their brain and put it in this body to like free themselves. I don't know. It's weird Star Wars lore.
That's the AutoBlow AI like 9000. That's like the most advanced form of that.
I don't like spiders. I don't want all those legs touching my junks. All of my junks.
My junkies.
All three of my junks. Okay, I think we're done.
I think we're done. I think the episode image should be of you crouching over an AutoBlow AI. I feel like
I don't
it has
like
to
that.
be like
I don't like that.
or just like you and Sam like this, a nice picture, but her like an AutoBlow AI photoshopped over her face.
No.
Too far.
You said I really wanted to do this, but out of context, I feel like it might not sound great. I wanted to title it episode 52 Black Wookiee. That Black Wookiee.
That works.
I don't
Let's
know.
do it. I think we'll be all right.
We'll figure it out. All right, so we'll see you next week. We're probably not going to cover Boba episode 4 unless something like crazy happens that I want to talk about, because I'll otherwise forget it. I mean, if it's just another if it's another episode like this, we're not going to touch it. Definitely we'll be covering Peacemaker, and I think we're going to watch Antlers. We pushed that off last week. We'll see if anything else comes out this week. I'm sure something fun will show up, but we'll see it when it shows up. I can't. All right, and we'll see you next time. Where can everybody find you at? Are you doing stuff?
They can find me on Twitter. You can't find me on Twitch. Let me be honest. I'm not there. Maybe one day, but not this day or tomorrow. But you can find me on Twitter at Dr. Gloom MD. That's DRGLOOMMD.
Nice. That's pretty true. That's one day. No, I have talked to a couple buddies. Smedley, one of my longtime watchers, viewers, friends. Mm-hmm. Did you know I met him in real life?
I did know that. Yeah,
that's a fun.
And you met
story.
like his parents too, I think, right?
Adorable. I love all of them. Yeah. Anyway, I am going to be coming back to streaming probably in the beginning of February, so like 2 weeks or so ish, a little less than 2 weeks, because there's Dying Light 2 coming out on the 4th, and then there's going to be games all month for both of us to play and talk about. I think
I'm going to stream Elden Ring, but I don't know. We'll see.
So Dying Light 2 comes out, and then Horizon Forbidden West comes out on the 18th, and then Elden Ring's the 25th. There's a lot of games next month that we're both looking forward to. So I don't know the order of operations on that. I definitely will be getting Dying Light 2 on release. I'm extremely excited about that. But anyway, point of that whole ramble was that I will be back to streaming soon, but not yet. Probably another week or two. Twitch and Twitter at TCN Plays. Once again, if you want to tell us to go fuck ourselves, you can tweet at us at The Cynical Nerd on Twitter. Because every time I say that, I want to follow it up with, because we got the name back, because I'm so proud of that.
Yeah. That was quite an accomplishment.
Thank you. I put it on my work resumes. Until next time, we'll see you next week. We'll keep your chin up, kid.
See you then, partner.
See you then, partner. Bye.